Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5 and I thought I'd make this kind of spur of a moment video talking about some observations I've made about uh, suppressors, silencers. Um, these are just simple observations I've made, um, you know, looking at different videos of them, people referring to them. I, at one point, um, when I was younger, wanted to buy one, and I went through the trouble of getting a threaded upple for my Rugal Mark III, and I kind of regret spending the extra money on the upple for the Mark III, just because I ended up not getting the suppressor. I decided the hassle wasn't worth it, and the upple for the it's a tack light upple, and it lightens the gun up, which some of you may say is a good thing, but I have shaky hands, so the extra weight on a gun actually helps stabilize my aim. So I'm going to leave it on there. Well, there's no reason to take it off, but I bought it, might as well be on the gun. But I've came to the conclusion I would have been better off not buying the Apple. And it's not a poor quality Apple. It's a Tactical Solutions tack light, and it's a good Apple. It costs just as much as the gun, and it's by far my favorite handgun that I own. I might have to do a show and tell on that gun sometime. Anyways, let's talk about suppressors. Um, Observation number one. Uh, So-called gun experts and or shooting enthusiasts get really, really irritated if you call a suppressor a silencer. Um, and But they do not get very uptight when you refer to a suppressor as a can. And this is always I always thought this was interesting. Uh, you go into a gun store and you say, "Hey, I want a silencer for my gun," and they'll go, "It's not a silencer, it's a suppressor." It's like, okay, well, you obviously knew what I was talking about. Um, so, but you talk to the same people, they'll be like, "Hey, I just got a new can for my 22. Why is one okay and the other one not okay?" If you're going to be a stickler on proper terminology, then you need to stick with proper terminology. And if proper terminology isn't that important, then and you're going to use terms like getting a can for your gun, um, don't be all upset when someone else calls it a silencer. You know dang well what they're talking about. If someone says it was a suppressor, or if someone says they want a silencer, you know what they're talking about. Um, but Anyways, that's something that I realized about suppressors, silencers, cans. Um, it's um, it's just one of those oddball little factoids that I've noticed. Another one, there was a myth saying that you cannot suppress a revolver, um, which is kind of true, but it's kind of not true. Um, I've seen a revolver that's able to be suppressed on YouTube. I think it's called the Nagant revolver. It's probably one of the most technologically advanced Soviet guns of its time. Uh, those of you who are gun people, you know what a revolver is, and you know that all revolvers have a cylinder. And this is the cylinder. Just pretend those three fingers are the cylinder. When you pull the trigger, the cylinder actually moves forward onto the gun. See this? It moves forward and creates a seal between the chamber and the cylinder. And You can actually, in this gun, you can actually put a suppressor on it and shoot it, and it actually suppresses the noise. You can actually suppress a revolver. Um, so there, myth busted, if I can use that term without getting sued. Um, so it is possible to suppress a revolver, and I've seen on different uh, uh, websites and stuff, people will say, movie myth, you can suppress a revolver. And they'll say false, this is ridiculous, you can't suppress a revolver. Well, you can. It just depends on what revolver you're talking about. I've heard this one a lot from my local gun store, saying that you can only suppress um, rounds. You can only suppress a 22, a 9 millimeter, a 45, and what was the other one? I can't remember the other one. But basically, you can only suppress a 22, a 9 millimeter, or 380, which is in the 9 millimeter family, um, and a 45 ACP. And that is another myth. You can pretty much suppress anything. That's the beauty of the word suppressor. Now, if you want to use the word silencer, then you can't necessarily silence anything. You'd have to silence subsonic bullets, uh, possibly a a gun with very few moving parts, like a single shot gun. But the suppressor doesn't make a gun, uh, church house quiet. A suppressor just reduces. Is that a word? Yeah. Okay. It reduces the sound that the gun makes. So even if you have supersonic bullets that break the sound barrier and cause a supersonic or a sonic boom, you can still suppress some of the noise. And you'll see this. Look at any video, well, not any video, but you'll often see in movies and in documentaries on sniper rifles and stuff, you'll often see a 50 cal sniper rifle with a suppressor on it. And it's not going to make the gun quiet, it's not going to silence the gun, but it does suppress flash. It does suppress some of the noise, the gas escaping, but it doesn't silence the gun. Now, I've also seen video of an AK-47 being suppressed, and I don't know. I don't know the feet per second on a 7.62 by 39, but I have to believe that it's not subsonic. I could be wrong there. I haven't did my homework on this, but the people at my gun store said you can only suppress um, um, 22, 9 millimeter, the 9 millimeter variants. I guess excluding the 9 by 25, but 22, 9 millimeter, um, 40, 45. You can only suppress those bullets, and that is completely false. You can suppress just about anything you want to because you're not silencing it, you're suppressing it. It's like the difference between bulletproof and bullet resistant. Get what I'm saying? Um, let's see. My fourth observation, I think I'm on number 4. Let's see, I got the terminology uh, about can, suppressor, silencer. I got the revolver suppressor. I got the rounds that could be suppressed. Um, yes, this is my fourth observation on suppressors, aka silencers, aka cans. Um, the U.S. is pretty much the only country that regulates suppressors uh, and puts you through hell in order to get one. It's only in America is it seen as an assassin's weapon, which is pretty strange because the United States has very, depending on what state, has very pro-gun um, um politics. For the United States, for the most part, I mean, there's some a-holes out there that want to change the Constitution, but the United States Constitution gives us the right to firearms. And actually, a little unknown fact, the United States Constitution does not give us rights to firearms. And you're thinking to yourself, what? What's the Second Amendment about? Read the Second Amendment. It says we have the right to bear arms. It doesn't say firearms, it says arms. That includes swords, knives, uh, guns, a billy club. They didn't specify firearms, they specified all types of arms. So that's something that a lot of people don't know. But anyways, yes, the United States is the only country I can think of um, that allows their citizens to have guns that sees the suppressor as an assassin's weapon. In very liberal countries like uh, Britain uh, and yeah, I think it's Britain, in New Zealand, maybe Australia, I can't remember. Um, they actually encourage you to buy a suppressor. They consider it common courtesy to put a suppressor on your gun. And I've seen uh, some kind of United Kingdom hunting video on YouTube where they're stalking a I forgot, it's some kind of small deal, and he was using a 17 Hornet, which um, I think the 22 Hornet's enough to kill a deer. I don't know if I want to hunt a deer with a 17 Hornet, but he was hunting it with a 17 Hornet, and he had a suppressor on his gun, and he was hunting with it. And it is considered common courtesy to put a suppressor on your gun so everybody else doesn't have to listen to you shoot all the time. And it's also a safety feature or safety hazard not to have the suppressor on your gun because you can lose your hearing. If you have a suppressor on your gun, then you really don't need hearing protection when it comes to certain rounds. Obviously, the really supersonic rounds are going to create that sonic boom, but for the most part, guns that you suppress, like 22s, 9mm, 40, 45, so on and so forth, you won't really need hearing protection if you have a suppressor on your gun. So it's actually safer to shoot a gun with a suppressor than it is without it. So I thought that was strange. America being the country that it is, they are so uptight about who owns a suppressor uh, because they're afraid people are going to go around shooting each other quietly. I would really love to have a suppressor for my hunting gun, because then I don't have to put on my earmuffs and my earplugs right before I shoot. I can listen for game while I'm hunting, and then when I see it, I can just raise my gun and shoot. Um, but now, being very careful, I always hunt with hearing protection, and I put it on right before I shoot. So it just is, it's an extra step that might cause me to lose a game animal, but it's not that big of a deal. I usually can get my earmuffs on pretty easily. Well, that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.